Frank Clark, former Chief, gets signed by the Denver Broncos. A little bit of shock and awe. Obviously, I knew sticker price was going to come up immediately. Then Mike Kliss reporting that Baron Browning was going to be out for some unknown amount of time. The actual hardships he's going to face as he begins to come back. But initial reports were stating that Baron Browning might be ready for sometime during training camp. Shortly thereafter, after that report was released, we got information that actually start of the season could be in jeopardy. And now we've even heard Sean Payton say that he would start the season on the PUP list. So, guys, let's first talk about Baron Browning and the injury. I'm a little forlorn because Broncos country is getting a taste of the injury bug before training camp. And that is always a sad sight to see. I'm really worried about the loss of production from Baron Browning, specifically going into him really finding his stride from last season into this one. Obviously had a couple of back and strain issues from 2023. So what are we looking, or 2022, 2023, what are we looking forward from that? And Zach, I'm going to start with you. Baron Browning out with that knee procedure. How are you feeling about it? What do we do next?
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly. It's going to really hurt his ability to hit his stride. I think what we've seen from Baron Browning early in his career is so exciting. It's the flashes are really special stuff, like it's stuff the elite pass rushers in the league can do, and very few others. It's just he needs to, I think, develop a little more and be able to find a little more consistency. And I think that's going to come with reps. He's obviously very new to the position. That's going to be harder to come by when you don't have any reps in training camp under the new defensive coordinator in this new defensive scheme. Now, edge, I think, isn't so like defensive coordinator reliant, especially compared to the other positions on defense. I'd argue it's the least. I think, not to say that there isn't a difference. Like I do think there will be an impact, but it's not like it's a corner or something like that. That said, it's a bummer. He's now in the last calendar year had 2 lower body injuries: the hip sprain that he missed a little time with in season, and now the partially torn meniscus. That's obviously concerning. Yeah, it's a shame because I think he's one of the things Broncos fans should be most excited about, and this puts a damper on it.
No, I mean, it's here's where I am on Baron Browning. He's fantastic. He's a really great player. I think he's exactly what we've wanted him to be coming out of Ohio State. I really do believe that. He was on a trajectory. If I'm just looking at his film, his trajectory is, Baron Browning's to be a damn good player. I think that's why the Broncos kind of felt comfortable even trading Bradley Chubb last year. Part of it was, hey, we really like this Baron Browning guy. And it is disheartening now because this has been an issue since he was in college, since he literally entered the NFL right after rookie minicamp. He had an injury all the way up until now. So it's disheartening anytime you're going to hear this guy have an injury, just because I think the talent he can be. And it's not good seeing him not play. Like, it's just not good. And having to go out there and bring in other players and stuff like that isn't exactly what I wanted to do. I just wanted Baron Browning to go out there and play ball. He showed flashes of brilliance. He really has. Like, he could be this edge one on this team. So I am really hoping that he comes back 100%, puts this injury bug behind him, has this little Jamal Murray moment, hopefully at the end of one of these years. That would be fantastic. But it is definitely disheartening at this point.
It's officially official. Denver Broncos announced that Frank Clark is officially a part of the Denver Broncos now. A little bit of a fail-safe option here. I want to preface the rest of these sentiments with, I like the football move. I have hesitations with the personal stuff. And I will try to tread as lightly as I possibly can here. But I think that in order to ensure the defense doesn't see the regression that we were all sort of talking about at the end of this past year, moving into new ownership coaching and maybe not bolstering that defensive line and defensive pieces enough was going to lead to problems when the injury bug did strike. And it just happened a little early. I'm glad that they made the signing. I'm not going to comment on contractual bases because I don't know how much the move is actually worth until we see his production. But I think a lot of the guys on the offensive line are going to have a lot to say with what they had to deal with from Frank Clark playing the Chiefs twice a year. So I think they'd rather have him on their side than facing that man. So Zach, I'm going to throw it over to you. You're muted.
So sorry, just on the contractual stuff. So it's going to be 5.5 million on the cap, no matter what, for 2023, because the incentives in the contract were listed as unlikely to hit, or incentives he's unlikely to hit, which I think in and of itself kind of tells you what to expect with Frank Clark, because the incentives are 500,000 for 6+ wins and 60% of snaps played. So, he's probably going to be more of a backup player, or 6 sacks. That and they're also projecting again him to hit under 6 sacks, 500K for 8 sacks, 500K for 10 sacks, and then 500K for 12 sacks. So I don't know. They're kind of betting against his production there to an extent. And even if he does hit those, they will incur on the 2024 cap. So even if he hits all those, it's an extra 2 million there. I think it's a really nice deal for the Broncos. Honestly, they needed the edge depth, and he provides that. All the questions I have about it are kind of like you alluded to. The human being, I think, is fairly questionable based on at least the past incidents.
I'm a little worried that the sack incentives are going to teach Broncos country that that's the only thing you should be looking out for instead of QB pressures. How do you feel about that, Joey? And then tell me how you feel about the Frank Clark signing.
Yeah, isn't that kind of crazy? They still incentivize sacks like that when so much of that is luck for these players. That is kind of crazy that so much of a dollar amount is behind that. I've never really thought about that, Bree. That's a great point. But hey, you know what? If he gets 12 sacks, I'm absolutely fine giving him an extra $500,000. I don't give a damn. Pay that man $500,000 if he gets us 12 sacks, because we would be like, he would be severely underpaid anyways at that point if he got 12 sacks. So, hey, I'm not mad at that at all. I think the Broncos needed edge help with or without Baron Browning. Like, that's just something they needed. I think they needed an extra body, a vet in the room, somebody that I just know what they can do. You know what I mean? Someone like that. We needed it. So I'm not mad at this deal whatsoever. As far as the player goes, Frank Clark, he has been overrated very much recently, like very, very overrated, I thought, by a lot of Broncos fans, a lot of Chiefs fans, by a lot of people in the NFL. And I think that's why he was still on the free agent thing. But if you're getting him at the price range that they are, that's where he should probably be. So, hey, good, not mad at the signing at all.
So Clark made some comments right after the signing news broke about why the Denver Broncos. And he feels the Denver Broncos are just a couple of pieces away, or a couple of, I guess, swings in momentum away from being back at the top, including back at the top of the division. Is that sour grapes from leaving the Chiefs? It sounded like he didn't want to be there anyways any longer. But the Denver Broncos, a couple pieces short of really making a run for contention. I got into this argument last night with some poor strangers that I didn't mean to yell at, but let's talk about how far away are we actually from seeing the Denver Broncos in contention. I just want to wrap that into this conversation. How do you feel about Frank Clark saying that he believes Russell Wilson can step it up? We've also had Garrett Bowles step in and say the same. Is it fodder for the brand new fandom that he has adopted, or does he know something that maybe we don't know yet?
I mean, I think someone can give you like a cold Big Mac and you can step it up. Like, you can do better. You can provide a better meal, and have it not be like a Michelin star winning restaurant, And that's the thing. Like, do I think they can, like,
it's backhanded?
Yeah, can Russell
I don't know.
Wilson bounce back to, I think, being like mediocre? Can we, I don't know, get back to like Warren Big Mac level? Can we get maybe to like even a Five Guys burger? I think so.
Wait,
I
what?
hope,
Wait,
I
say
hope
this.
McDonald's never wants to sponsor us, as you just
Yeah.
disparage the Big Mac warm.
Also,
Like, oh, lukewarm's not even that really great.
it's important we clarify, Zach.
Oh
just
no,
because
I'm sorry.
I want it completely, since you're clearly slandering right now. What if we could get him the Big Mac level? What was he before? Can you like just let me know what that was?
Like when are we talking about? Like I'd say towards the end of the Seattle run. I don't know. I don't know. I think you can get him back to being like
He can't do it. He can't do it. He can't.
In that
Stumped him.
16-ish range, 15, 16. So whatever is mediocre to you, whatever you think the most like mediocre mid food is, that's high variance. I'd
He
say
just
that's
called-
kind of what he is.
I feel like that's a little bit not unfair. No, I'm gonna say it. It's unfairly harsh because you're saying that like 15's the ticker that pushes it over the edge. If you're a top 15 quarterback, you're in the like but if you're 16 below, you're a cold Big Mac. It's just weird.
I
It's
think
like,
no. I don't think because I don't think he no. I think cold Big Mac range is like bottom 5, and that's where he was last year. So do I think he can get better from that? Like Garrett Bull's comments, he's going to step it up from last year. Yeah, I think he will. To like mediocre, because I think he's going to have Sean Payton maximizing what he can do. But he's always been a limited quarterback. He struggles operating in the middle of the field.
That wasn't his fault, Zach. It was the offensive line, and it was the injuries, and it was everything else.
But go back to even his whole, and I know you're being sarcastic here, but go back to his whole Seattle career. Like there's been limitations in his game throughout his career. And now one, because of how defenses are playing, they're forcing you to kind of work in the areas that Russell Wilson has always struggled to operate in, and his exploits for that, his loopholes where I can scramble around so crazy and throw from any platform that I can create these sight angles where I can exploit these areas of the field. And the fact that I can't use quick game doesn't matter because I can extend the play so long. And now I think he's just 10, 15% less mobile, less dynamic, and he can't play that same way as a result. And it can get a lot better than what it was last year. Don't get me wrong. But do I think we're going to see like elite Russell Wilson, the guy we're paying for, the guy the Broncos are traded that insane draft haul for? No, I don't think we're going to see that.